let's dive into a really critical but kind of invisible problem in healthcare. We're talking about keeping doctor directories up to date. Now that might sound pretty simple, right? But believe me, the way it's been done forever is creating this huge, hidden risk for everyone.
I mean, have you ever had this happen? You look up a doctor online, you find what you think is the right info, you call the number, and it's disconnected. Or worse, you drive to the address, and it's, I don't know, a coffee shop now. As a patient, it is so frustrating.
But here's the thing. While it's just a huge pain for us, for a hospital or a healthcare provider, that simple error is a massive operational risk. Seriously, that one wrong phone number can be just the tip of a giant iceberg of bad data. And the consequences, well, they're pretty serious.
So let's break that down. Why is this such a big deal? Why isn't it just a simple inconvenience? Because believe me, the stakes get incredibly high when this data is wrong.
Okay, so at the heart of all this is a process called provider directory maintenance. Now, I want you to picture this. A team of people, right? And their entire job is to log into dozens, and I mean dozens, of different websites, internal systems, you name it, and manually check and update every single detail for every doctor in their network. It's tedious, it's mind-numbing, and it is just a perfect recipe for human error.
And when those errors happen, oh, the fallout is severe. We're talking about huge regulatory fines if the data isn't compliant. We're talking about major damage to their reputation when patients can't find them. It costs a ton of money to pay smart people to do this copy-paste work. And here's the real kicker. This whole manual process, it just completely falls apart as a healthcare system grows. It just doesn't scale at all.
Okay, but what if you could just take all of that human error, all that repetition, all that cost, and just get it out of the equation? Well, this is where a technology called robotic process automation, or RPA for short, comes in and completely changes the game.
And the idea behind it is actually super simple. Step 1, a person just does the task one time while the software watches and records every click and keystroke. Step 2, the software then builds what we call a digital worker, basically a bot, that can perfectly copy that exact same process. And finally, step 3, that bot just goes to work. It performs all those updates across every single system 24/7 without ever making an error.
And this is what's so powerful about modern automation. We're not talking about some massive, complicated IT project. The bot literally reads the screen and uses the keyboard and mouse just like a person would. So it doesn't matter if it's a modern website or some ancient 20-year-old internal system, the bot can work with it, no problem.
Okay, so that's all the theory, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, the tangible, measurable impact is kind of staggering. You see, when you put these digital workers on the job, two things happen almost instantly. First, that giant mountain of manual work, it basically vanishes. And second, because that bot follows the rules perfectly every single time, data accuracy just skyrockets.
And here is the big number. Get this. Organizations doing this have saved 75% of the time they used to spend on these updates. Think about that. A task that used to eat up an entire day can now get done in just a couple of hours with zero human oversight.
And you know, it's not even just about going faster. The other wins for the business are huge. Of course, you get that higher data accuracy, which slashes that compliance risk we mentioned earlier. But it also frees up your skilled employees, your really valuable people, to do strategic work instead of just mind-numbing data entry. And maybe most importantly for healthcare, it creates a perfect, fully auditable digital trail of every single update.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that for this kind of high-stakes, tedious, but absolutely critical compliance work, automation is the new standard. It's becoming the baseline. Frankly, the old manual way just isn't sustainable anymore.
And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. If a problem this messy, this complicated, involving all these different systems can be automated so efficiently, well, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other unsolvable problems inside your own business aren't really unsolvable at all? Maybe they're just waiting for their own digital worker to show up.